Have you ever noticed that there seems to be a divide between gospel and Christian hip-hop? It seems rare that one side ever acknowledges the other. CHH artists are more likely to sample, collaborate, and tour with CCM artists. When award season rolls around, they're more likely to be recognized at the Doves. As for the Stellars, throughout the years, many awards in the hip-hop category have been given to non-rappers, such as Pastor Mike Jr. or even Hezekiah Walker. And even in these moments, they're rarely televised. Now, this isn't to say that gospel music hasn't embraced the essence of hip-hop and urban culture, because they have. Kirk Franklin, Mary Mary, and many more are a testament to that. It's specifically the CHH genre and culture that seems to be held at bay. Now, I'm not saying that this divide is necessarily a bad thing. I'm not pointing any fingers for gatekeeping. This is just something I couldn't help but notice. I often feel like a bit of a unicorn in that I genuinely love both. I created this channel and this video to highlight both genres and connect with a community that loves either or. I may be the only person that cares about this, but I still hope it reaches the right person. I've taken the time to put together a list of the times when a gospel artist and a CHH artist actually have collaborated. Now, without further ado, when gospel and CHH integrate. King of Glory by Commission. Why not start where it all began? Released in 1991 off of the No. 7 album, King of Glory may have been the first gospel song to feature an actual Christian rap group. Their names, Transformation Crusade. For a while, I thought their appearance was just a one-off occurrence, but in actuality, they were an established group that released 3 albums. Their 1991 album, Make It Happen, was produced by Fred Hammond. There's another connection between Commissioned and Christian hip-hop. That same year, Stephen Wiley, the recognized founder of CHH, would release his 3rd album, Rhapsody. This album was produced by Commission's own Michael Brooks, and the track Just a Touch features Park Stewart, a gospel recording artist and honorary member and writer for Commission. I Sings by Mary Mary, Let's Dance by Hezekiah Walker, and Oh Yeah by Dietrich Haddon. Whenever I think about a gospel artist collaborating with a CHH artist, BBJ is the first person I think of. Before making this list, I would have said he was dominating the early 2000s. When it was time to put pen to paper, these are the only 3 songs I could think of. Perhaps I'm forgetting something, but let me know in the comments. Regardless of the small number, I believe BBJ had a big impact. Despite being featured on multiple gospel songs, to my knowledge, he never had a gospel artist featured in his music. I believe he only released 1 solo album, so perhaps he never got the opportunity. One of the most surprising collabs on this list is a song called Turn Yourself Around by husband and wife duo A1 Swift. Its chorus features none other than Daryl Coley. I find this so surprising because unlike the other individuals on this list, Daryl Coley remained fairly traditional throughout his career. I was curious as to what their connection was. Although A1 Swift was signed to a gospel label, I don't believe they were ever label mates. In 1998, Alicia Tyler, the wife of A1 Swift, was featured on You Can Always Call His Name by Trinity 5-7. CeCe Winans and Grits. Aside from her biggest hits and a few songs from her 2nd album, Everlasting Love, I was largely unfamiliar with CeCe's discography. I was skimming through a couple of her albums and landed on the song Anybody Wanna Pray from her 2001 self-titled album. It was a lot more upbeat than I was accustomed to hearing from her, but I really didn't expect a rap verse. I also didn't expect to hear familiar voices, but lo and behold, it was Grits. Both artists have built their careers in Nashville, so having Grits as a feature kinda just made sense. 4 years later, they would come together again on a more mellow track, A Place Like This, on the album Purified. Much like A1 Swift, the Gospel Gangsters were in a unique situation compared to other CHH acts because they were actually signed to a gospel label, gospel-centric to be exact. I think that put them in closer proximity to the gospel music industry. In fact, the Gospel Gangsters actually did perform at the Stellar Awards. My first example is I'll Be Good, a single from their album I Can See Clearly Now. Kirk Franklin's One Nation crew is featured on the background vocals, and Kirk himself makes a cameo in the video. A few years later, the OGGs would collab with former Drew Hill singer Woody Rock on his album Soul Music. This song is called Everybody, which I actually came to know first from Minna Standard on their final album Surrounded in 2006. In that version, Warren Campbell does the rap verse. Toward the end of the 2000s, the barriers between gospel and hip-hop had been well broken into. If BBJ ruled the early 2000s in gospel and hip-hop crossover, then the late 2000s 2000s to 2010s belonged to The Truth. In 2007, he released Who Am I from the album Open Book. This song features Ty Tribbett, but honestly, he doesn't lend much more than ad-libs and a cameo in the music video. That same year, The Truth was featured on Kirk Franklin's I Like Me on the album Fight of My Life. In 2012, he was featured on the remix of Charles Jenkins' Awesome, which was actually on a Canton Jones Kingdom Business compilation. I won't name every song, but he has also worked with Fred Hammond, James Fortune, Anthony Brown, Jonathan Nelson, Isaac Curry, and I'm sure many more. Of course, you can't talk about CHH without mentioning the face of the franchise, Lecrae. I didn't find quite as many examples as I expected, but I felt like I needed to include them. My first example that came to mind was Help by Erica Campbell. More recently, Lecrae and Tasha Cobbs will come together and release Your Power. Lecrae has also worked with Isaac Curry, The Walls Group, and Kiara Sheard. Last but not least, I'm gonna highlight 1K Phew. In 2018, he was featured on the I Got That remix by Anthony Brown and Group Therapy. On his 2022 album, As I Am, 1K Phew has two gospel features, Baptized featuring Ty Tribbett and As I Am featuring Jonathan McReynolds. Finally, in 2024, he released the Let Go, Let God gospel remix featuring Erica Campbell and Tim Bowman Jr. Now, obviously, I couldn't name every occurrence in this category, but I did want to highlight a few songs and give a loose timeline through the evolution of gospel and CHH. If you have a favorite song that I failed to mention, please drop it in the comments. Also, let me know your thoughts on this topic. Do you like it when gospel artists and hip-hop artists collab, or would you prefer if everything stays separate? Let me know. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm working on making a lot more commentaries and reviews and other original content. There aren't very many channels out here like this, so whether you're a fan of gospel or CHH, this is definitely the place to be. Also, consider joining the Patreon. There's a lot of fun stuff there too. The link is in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.